Kingdom lifestyle.
Good morning, good day, depending on what time you are joining us on this show. This is the Thursday Morning Digest, and it is a show by women, about women, and for women empowerment. In this show, we seek to educate, enlighten, and to empower you. I'm your host, Laureen Magotsi, and it delights me to be coming to you today. Today's show is very interesting because I have a very amazing lady who will be sharing some insights with us. She is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, and she runs her own law firm. She will shortly introduce what she does to us. But I asked myself, why would a young, promising advocate running her own law firm choose to open a side hustle, what we like to call in this country a side hustle, another business to complement her income? Why would a lawyer, and we consider lawyers to be doing well, and why would she consider to open another business? Those are the insights that we want to receive this morning. So it gives me so much pleasure to be able to introduce my guest to you this morning. As always, we are coming to you live from Elevate TV studios, right at the heart of the city of Nairobi. So without taking so much time, I want to introduce my guest this morning, and I'll just ask her to introduce herself so that we can get on with the discussion. Again, you can share the links with your friends so that they can join in and get these insights. You can also share your questions. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. You can share your comments and your questions, and we will be able to address them in the course of the show. Once again, thank you for joining us. So over to you, Esther. Please introduce yourself to our viewers and tell us a bit about yourself.
Good morning, viewers. My name is Esther Masanginya, and as Laureen has said, I am an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. I'm also an entrepreneur. I sell female apparel, but I am sure that we'll get into that a bit later. Mm-hmm. But can I say that first, I am very proud of you, Laureen. You are really an inspiration because of the many things that you do. Mm-hmm. I have seen you handle very many other roles, mm-hmm. and I am intrigued. I don't know where you get the time, mm-hmm. but I am inspired. Thank you. And I am sure so many other women, especially mm-hmm. the ones that know you, mm-hmm. are very inspired.
Thank you.
So
thank you.
Keep up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We do this for the kingdom, and we are glad that we have the opportunity. Yeah. So tell me a bit about your background. Where did you grow up? Did you grow up in Kenya? Where in Kenya? Where have you been to get to where you are currently?
So I was born and bred in Kitale. Mm-hmm. For those of you that don't know Kitale, Kitale is a small town in Trans Nzoia County. Mm-hmm. We are the bread baskets of this country. Yes. I grew up in a loving family of 5. Mm-hmm. I am the firstborn of 3. Okay. So it was my parents and my 2 siblings, my brother and my sister. Mm-hmm. Then I went to Mount Elgon Academy from class 1 mm-hmm. to class 8. Mm-hmm. Then thereafter I joined Alliance Girls High School. So I came to
Alliance.
The Alliance. I went to Alliance. Yes. Yeah, so I joined Alliance Girls High School, mm-hmm. so that's when I came to, we used to say it's in Nairobi, but it's mm-hmm. actually in Kikuyu. Okay. It's in Kiambu. Okay. But yeah, everyone else knows I came to Nairobi, okay. So I came to high school. Mm-hmm. 4 years, then after that I mm-hmm. did well, so I was called to Moi University, okay. where I studied law. Okay. I went to law school. Mm-hmm. in Moi University in Eldoret.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting that you mentioned the Alliance Girls High School, and also that you were called in to study law.
Yeah.
And it happens to actually be around the time that our ex-high school students are also choosing their courses. And I think even last week we had a bit of challenges in that sector. What would you advise, say, that young girl who feels, I wanted to study law, I didn't get to do law, what can I do? Is it over for me? Or that one who said, I wanted to maybe do teaching or whatever other course, but that's not what I was selected for. What would be your advice to them?
I think the most important thing, I feel like most of the children, especially right now, they have no idea that even those people some of the people that studied law, that was not their first choice, or they did not want to study law. So there's a child somewhere that is thinking, I want to become a doctor.
Yes.
But there's a doctor somewhere who is also thinking, I should have done something else. I think it's important to understand, especially for parents, to understand the talents that their children have, because not all of us are gifted in academia. Yeah, but there are very many children that are gifted in sports.
Yes.
We have children that are very good cooks. We have children that are very eloquent and they can do other things. They can pursue other courses.
Yes.
And I think right now the world that actually we are living in is more than just academics. Academia is good.
Yes.
And there are many courses that children can pursue in academia, but there are also many other things that children can do. They can engage in sports. So if you're good in athletics, you play basketball, tennis, you're a good swimmer, you can pursue those courses. But also I would like to encourage these young people to don't sleep on the TVETs. The village polytechnics. I have seen great talent and people that have done very well coming from the village polytechnics.
Yes.
So the practical, the skilled jobs.
Yes.
So for example, someone that is doing catering, people that are doing mechanics, people that are doing tailors.
Yes.
Can you afford a tailor right now?
Good question.
They are very expensive.
Yeah, true,
they are literally almost unaffordable. And they are doing fantastic things.
Yes.
So we can't all fit in an office, in a specific office. We can't all be teachers, nurses. But there are many other things that we can do. If you're gifted with your hands, please focus on that. And the Bible says that the Lord has given us all that we require for life has been given to us. That is in 2 Peter. So that means there's nothing else that you require to be successful in this life that is outside of you. You already have it. So what that means is just whatever you have in your hands, start there. And besides, you can still do law even as a second degree. If you didn't qualify the first time, then you can do something else. And you can still come back and do it in as a second degree. I mean, we were in law school with people that were in their 50s, their 40s. It's never too late to realize your dreams. But I think the most important is let's not focus on one thing or the one thing that I was not able to do. Let's focus on what am I able to do now. So I got a C. I cannot join law school. What can I do with my C? What am I passionate in? And right now you can even start. For those people that have, you have a form, you have good lighting, you can start a YouTube channel. It is not something that is cheap, I understand. However, start where you are. You can record yourself on TikTok. These are things that people are doing, and they're bringing income to them. So we don't have to always focus on the traditional ways of making money.
Wow, I love how we have started this show with so many insights so far. If you're a parent, if you're a student, I think there's something in this show for you. So please keep the questions coming, keep the comments coming. We will review them shortly, and then we'll be able to address your questions. Again, this is the Thursday Morning Digest. We are coming to you live from Elevate Studios. So I want to ask you another question. So why did you choose law?
I have always been passionate about law, but to be honest, I think I first had it from my father. Every single time I would argue, my father would tell me, you'd make a very good lawyer. Because I was not the child that you just tell no to. I wanted to understand why. I was an obedient child, but I was a very inquisitive child. So every single time my father told me something, or Esther, please don't do that, I would ask him, but why? Dad, but why? Or he would tell me, you know, we can't go, today we are not going for the first service,
Yes.
we're going for the second service, but we always go for the first service. What is
different
today? Then you tell me maybe the bishop is coming, or we have a special service, or we're having baptism in church. So I think because I was always inquisitive, he's the one that planted that seed in me. And so growing up from a very young age,
Yes.
I knew that I was going to be a lawyer. Two things. I thought I would either be a journalist
Okay.
or a lawyer. Journalist just because at the time I thought, as long as you can talk. And my parents used to be like, this girl just does not shut up.
Oh, so there's
I
hope
thought
for people who talk.
We use our words.
Yes.
So yeah, I thought I would do, but I think for the most part, I knew that I would study law. And I don't think over the years, and I was very good in languages, which is what is one of the requirements for law.
Yes.
I never wavered. I think I was very consistent.
Okay.
So to me, it wasn't a shock. Yeah.
It was a
I
seed
didn't find
planted.
myself here. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, I love that. Huh?
Yeah.
And perhaps it's just something that I think, especially for the parents listening,
Yeah.
that you can plant seeds in your children's lives,
Yeah.
that after you observe them and you know them and you study what their capabilities and strengths are, you can begin to plant seeds of their future. Wow, I love that. I love that. Okay, so after you now went to Moi University, then of course there's Kenya School of Law. Why did you, okay, let me first ask, did you immediately start your law firm, or did you work elsewhere before you started your own law firm?
Before I started my own law firm, I first started working at Kilonzo and Company Advocates. I was an intern, and I learned a lot. That's where I first came across litigation. That's where I started going to court, handling files, doing submissions, drafting pleadings.
Yeah.
That's where I got most of the skills that I have. I also worked at Masika and Koros Advocates for quite a while. And my former bosses were very kind. They nurtured me. They were very patient with me. They were very patient with me. And they nurtured me. And they allowed me to make mistakes.
Wow.
They allowed me to make mistakes. So we knew to get up and not dwell on what had happened.
Wow.
But at the same time, I think I learned very valuable lessons.
Yes.
And I realized that being a teacher is not easy. Because sometimes you have to be patient with,
Yes.
I mean, this is, sometimes it could be a big mistake that is going to cost you. But at the same time, you understand that this is, I am trying to bring up this person in this profession, and they are looking up to me. So I also have to be patient with them, because sometimes that's what will determine whether that person grows up to like what they do or resent the profession. So it's a very thin line between reprimanding and guiding someone to a point that they're actually in love with what they do. Yeah, so I worked at Kilonzo, then I also worked at Gakoi Minor, and then I worked with the Task Force for Land. And I think when I worked with the Task Force for Land, that's when I realized, okay, there are so many other things that I can do aside from just going to court, the usual, because that's what I was exposed to.
Yes.
And I used to wonder, so people that don't go to court, what else do they do? Yeah. But over time, I realized there is a lot that you can do. The legal profession is very wide.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are so many areas that you can practice. There are people doing aviation law, there is sports law, there is corporate commercial, there is conveyancing. Like there are many things that you can do as a lawyer. So you don't have, for those that don't like going to court, you don't have to go to court. Yeah. There are many advocates that do other things aside from going to court.
Yes.
And so I think at that point, my experience outside made me realize I wanted to do more. And I realized that being in a structured place, that is being in someone's office, will mean that there's only so much I can do.
Yes.
There's only so much I can do at a go. And that was one of my motivations to venture out, because now starting my own law firm meant that I can also have other businesses, but I can also be in charge of my schedule.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was my motivation to start my firm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, great. But I want to take you back to internship. And perhaps you could just share, in your view, I know you've touched on a couple of things, but how important is internship? I think we have a number of young people, and I'm asking this because there are young people who just like to stay at home. They're on YouTube, they're on TikTok, they're all over the place. And yet there are so many organizations, and I'm not talking about just law, but there are so many organizations that could offer, you know, some of these internship opportunities. So what, in your view, is the importance of internship for young people?
In fact, I don't think words are enough to explain how important an internship is, because it is one of the ways that young professionals open their eyes to what exactly it is that they want to do. It is through internship that people realize, I don't think this is what I want to do, or they find their passion. This is exactly what I want to do. But now, if you risk having a lot of knowledge and not having the skills. You could have a lot of knowledge. You have studied, you're a fantastic lawyer in theory, but you cannot put that in practice. Yeah. So there are so many people that are, you could even be, let's say someone, an example of someone that has studied medicine. So you've done really well, you have passed your exams, you've not done internship, so you've never done a ward round. You have no idea what that looks like. You're not even sure whether you want to spend the rest of your life doing clinical medicine or you want to venture out and get into public health or other things. So internship is actually an eye-opener. It will open your eyes to possibilities, endless possibilities for that matter. And you will make your decisions quicker than someone else that has never worked anywhere. Because by the time you finish your internship, for example, actually my first internship was first year, long holiday. Now, granted, I didn't do much in this law firm. I was almost a tea girl, and you know, because I mean, what do you know? But I used to go, but I would wake up very early in the morning and go to the office. And my boss at the time, Alex Masika, bless him, was very patient with me. So I would do. I started very slowly. Then I was easing up into the whole practice. So I would go to the office, I would make sure the files are arranged. And then once in a while they would send me to court, then they would give me instructions. So you get an advocate and give them these instructions. You tell them to hold your brief. That was the first time. That was in first year, long holiday. And then I think that's when I realized, okay, I actually like this litigation thing and I think I could do it. But I don't think I would have that information because I also know people that the first time they were doing any form of internship was during pupillage. This is after law school. And they really struggled because you literally don't know where to start. And I think it also saves you time. It saves you time from doing things that you actually don't like or you have no business doing. So I think that every person should at least intern somewhere. It teaches you valuable lessons and skills, a skill set that you need to have to survive. Oh, so I hope you're getting our guest, Esther, as she tells us about, you know, her experience in internship and why internship is so important. You know, we cannot overemphasize and just, you know, tell you how important it is. So if you're a student, try and find opportunities for internship. If you're a parent and you have your child who can get into internship opportunities, please encourage them because they are vital for the progress of your child. And can I just also say, for people that, let's say you've not even gone to college, you don't have money to go to college yet, there are many things that you can do. I would encourage people. I know of people that would visit their local tailor. You just go and sit there the entire day. You know, you become that person that is quote unquote mtu wa mkono. You become their messenger. They send you to do this. You get to learn if that is your passion. If you like, you want to be a mechanic or maybe you're just interested, you're just curious. You don't even have to be a mechanic. You go to your local garage. Just hang around there. Over time, you will start doing, they'll start giving you brief assignments.
A spanner
a spanner here and there.
Lose this bolt.
Do you know, like, can you check oil? This is what we do. And over time, you get to learn. So you get to know, oh, so this is where I can put the coolant. Okay, so this is where oil goes to. And you get to learn. That's how people have started. And most people, there are people who've started, they have those skills, and
Yes.
even if you don't become a mechanic, it would be good for you to have that knowledge
Yes.
for the future when you buy your own car.
Yes.
Because you will not have to take your car, or even if you take it to the garage,
Yes.
you will not be clueless. Because clueless
not
also
be
means,
conned.
yeah, you will not be conned. Because mechanics are not cheap.
Yes,
They
true.
are not cheap.
Yes.
So find a skill, find something that you can do. Just make sure by the time you wake up in the morning, you know what you're going to do.
Yes.
And even if you don't, just leave the house, go somewhere. So go to that garage, go to that
Yes.
tailoring shop, go to the local market, get something to do.
Yes.
Over time, you will learn, and these are skills that will help you in the future.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's
Yes.
how sometimes that's how people get jobs, because everyone is waiting for an interview. Everyone is waiting for someone to call
wow.
you. You're waiting for a
Yeah.
job opportunity, and they're not being advertised because there are people that are already there.
Yes.
These people woke up and decided, I will go there. So by the time that opportunity arises, we have someone here that has a skill and we
Yes.
know them.
Yes.
I think they are fit for the job.
Yes.
So those people are not being interviewed. So as you sit and wait for job openings,
Yes.
people have already grabbed them. As a matter of fact, by the time they're being advertised, they have
gone.
people in mind, because we have seen Laureen here.
Yes.
She does a good job. She's a respectable person.
Yes.
She's obedient. I think she can do this.
Yes.
So put yourself out there. Don't just sit in the house and say that I can't find a job. And I understand the economy is not doing so well. Things are tough. But I am sure that if you put yourself out there, the Lord is faithful.
Yes.
I mean, the Bible says that his children do not ask for bread and he gives them stones.
Yes.
So for as long as every day you're doing something,
Yeah.
that is progress.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm loving this discussion this morning, and I don't know about you, but I think it's very important for us to emphasize, and I like what you said, that you don't have to sit at home. My dear sister, the woman, lady listening to me, you don't have to sit at home. Get out there, go talk to your next tailor, you know, just tell them, I just need to know how to operate the machine. I just need to know how to, you know, even change the attire, you know. Just learn something. Go sit somewhere. Don't wait for an interview. I mean, those are very, very, very good nuggets that you are giving us this morning. Thank you, Esther. So don't just sit there. Do something. Do something. Learn a skill, because it could come in handy in your future. Okay, so now tell us, you had your inspiration to start your own law firm. So what is the name of your law firm? How did you start it, and what do you do?
So my firm is Masanginya and Associates Advocate.
Yes.
We have our office on Jakaya Kikwete Road, just
Yes.
next to Middle East Bank.
Yes.
We do a lot of litigation,
Okay.
conveyancing,
Okay.
corporate, commercial,
Okay.
yeah, and legal drafting, legislative drafting. That's
Okay.
what we mostly do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of
Yeah.
our viewers
Yeah.
who may not understand legal terms. So when you say litigation, basically it's taking cases to,
to court.
To court.
Yeah.
When you say conveyancing, it's basically land transactions,
Yeah, land
etc.
transactions, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So you do all that. How did you start it?
So how I started, as I had said earlier, working in the task force for land
Yes.
opened my eyes to endless possibilities.
Yes.
And I realized I wanted to implement what it is that I was learning outside. And I realized there are many things that I want to do.
Yes.
For example, I sell clothes. We'll get to that later. And there are many other things that I do. And I thought to myself, I always wanted, I knew at some point I would, even if it was not immediate
Yes.
after admission, but I knew that I was going to open a firm at some point. And so one day I remember we had gone home for the Christmas holidays, and I got a referral. So a client was referred to me. At this point, so I told a friend of mine, I have this client, I think I'll give them to you, because, and they were like, why? Why can't you handle that matter? And I was like, well, I don't have my own firm. And that was my cue. And he was like, why don't you start your firm? Why don't you at least register it?
Yeah.
And I think I had a light bulb moment. I realized if I am, because I'm a social person, so I'm always networking and meeting people, new people. So I kept getting clients,
Wow.
And I was wondering, so do I refer them? At some point, I actually referred them to some of my friends. But I realized, you know what, this is a gift. Yeah? Being able to network and get clients is actually a gift.
Yes.
So I decided, I think I can do this. So we came back now in January and I registered my farm.
Wow.
But now what is interesting is immediately I registered that farm and got the first 2 or 3 files.
Yes.
We were told to stay at home because this was 2020.
Oh no! During COVID. Okay.
And this was during COVID.
Wow.
This was during COVID. And I remember just saying, wow, Lord, wow, just wow.
Wow.
So you've started a new business. And I didn't have savings. So it's not like I had a lot of money put aside for rent and such. However, what helped me was also the fact that when I got space, I was very practical. I got something that was not so big, just enough for me to start, because I didn't want that kind of pressure to have something that was very big. And then, because I didn't know, I mean, when you're starting a business, you can only hope that things will pick up. So at this point, I was able to sustain it. Interestingly, I would get nice briefs. At that point, I wasn't even getting the ones for litigation as much, going to court. So I would get agreements here and there. Yeah, and that's actually what kept me afloat.
Okay, just hold that thought. Hold that thought there, because we want to take a break just about now. I hope you're learning a lot, viewers. Please keep sharing your comments, your questions. We'll look at them during the break so that we can come back to you. But this is the Thursday Morning Digest, and we are coming to you live from Elevate TV studios, where we are advancing kingdom lifestyle. So we take a break and we'll be back in a bit. Please don't touch that dial. See you shortly.
Every man of God must remain focused in the ministry.
A pastor needs prayer, care, love, and encouragement.
You have to have a mentor, someone you can be able to obey, to love, to submit to.
What these pastors and leaders should do to create the right culture.
The most powerful thing a pastor can do to his people is teach them. Being accountable to an authority is not weakness, it's strength.
On Encourage a Pastor, we share real and authentic conversations that intend to give solutions to a pastor.
If there's a minister out there are character issues, don't push. Don't keep on ministering. You won't be fruitful.
In the body of Christ, certain wives have given up because probably they feel they haven't gotten the right leadership from their own husbands.
We need to learn to know our husbands after the Spirit.
I'm telling you, don't quit.
Catch Encourage a Pastor every Saturday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
It's because we don't carry glory. Glory is weight. You begin to look at somebody, they begin to feel a weight has entered the room. You know, the Bible says, who is man that you're mindful of? David even says, we are just but dust. How can that which is of the highest be prepared from that which is the lowest? Praise be to the name of the Lord Jesus Christ.
We want to be good people. We want to make good husbands and good wives and good parents, but we have private struggles.
It shall be established. Why? You have him who has helped you to begin to do. You are a carrier of an atmosphere. You begin to talk to them. They don't see you as a mere man, as a mere car. There is a power. There are legions and legions of enforcements in your conversation. That's why some of us go to strike a business deal and we are transformed. We are transformed.
Good morning, good day once again. Thank you for staying tuned in to Elevate TV this morning. This is the Morning Digest Show, the Thursday Morning Digest Show, where we talk about women matters. So we are a show for women, by women, and we talk about women empowerment. So if you're listening to us, please tag and share the links with your friends, with other fellow women, so that they can join in as we continue with our discussion this morning. So I've been hosting Esther Masanginya, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, who runs her own law firm, and she also runs a side hustle, and we'll be talking about that shortly. So we had taken a break at the point where you were telling us how you began the firm, that you took a space, and I love what you said, that you just took a small office, enough for you, because you were starting up. Tell us more from there.
Yes, so now I took a small space.
Yes.
And then, so COVID struck, we were staying at home. But even then, the Lord was faithful. I was making just enough to stay afloat. I cannot complain. In fact, I keep joking and saying that I don't know how to run business outside of a pandemic.
because that was the environment you were introduced to business.
Exactly, that was the environment. And I had to stay afloat.
Yes.
And I'm really grateful to God that I hacked and I stayed on. Yeah.
Okay. Now, there's something you say that's very interesting for people with startups, that just find a small place. Don't be too flashy when you're beginning, because it will come with attendant costs, yeah? But start where you are. Okay, so you've started, there's the pandemic. So how do you grow a business during the pandemic?
So now, around that time, I wrote a few articles in the papers, opportunities to write articles.
Wow.
So I wrote a few articles in the papers. Of course, some of them make it.
Yes.
Some of them don't.
Oh.
But my point is, do something, even during that time. So, and the clients that I had,
yes,
and I did a bit of legal opinions, and around that time, I would, so my way of looking for business was, other than referrals, which I'm glad I had, I would approach businesses and I would identify a need. Yeah, I would get the structure so that if they need, for example, restructuring, especially mid-sized businesses, so some of them don't have this information, I would draft policies. I would approach businesses and ask them, do you have, for example, a sexual harassment policy? Do you have a gender policy? Do you have this? What do you have? And most of them don't have. So they'll tell me, okay, fine, we don't have this. We would like to bring you on board, but what are you, how much are you charging us?
Yes.
So I started that way. I also had a few webinars with some of those companies on these policies.
Wow.
And that's actually what kept me afloat. Yeah, until we were able to go back to work. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, so look for opportunities, in other words.
Yeah, look for opportunities, identify an organization, look for an opportunity, find a gap, and then approach them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because sometimes you must create work for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, how long has your law firm run now? Since
it's now been 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
What has been your experience? So as a law firm, but more importantly and broadly for the women that are watching this morning, generally just a startup, what has been your experience getting it off the ground?
My experience has been that you have to put in the time.
Okay.
You have to put in the time, and it's a lot of hard work, but it's doable.
Okay.
Because I've also met clients who, you know, some of them look at you and they're like, you're just a small girl. I am not so sure. Just the same way some people will go to hospital and would like to be attended to by an older doctor. It is the same thing that we experience. There was a time I got some clients and they really, I could tell they were really struggling. Because for them, they feel like, I think you're young. I don't think you have this necessary experience. Or there are also those ones that would prefer. They're like, okay, not only are you young, but depending cultural differences, some of them are like, okay, do you have a male associate that you work with? Yeah, I remember there was a time I got some clients. I could tell they came from, they were pastoralists. They were pastoralists. So when they came, I could tell, and I had to, you know, I didn't get offended. I was just patient with them. I explained to them, and over time, in fact, I've gotten a few referrals
from them,
from the said clients. So I would say, when you get work and you get a file, give it your all. Because the only other way to grow your business, and the easiest way, is through referrals. So most of the times, someone may bet on you, but it is what you do with what you have been given that will determine whether they come back, or even if they don't come back, whether they will give you further business or refer you to their friends and their circles. So I usually say you only have one shot. One shot. That's it. Because you don't always have a second chance to prove yourself to that client. So you have to give your best.
I love that. I love that. In fact, somebody put it this way and said, you never have a second chance to make a first-time impression.
That part.
So amazing. So, you know, you have to put in the work. I used to think, by the way, that, you know, when you're an employee and you have to do overtime, you feel, you know, I need to start my own business so that I'm in charge of my time. How is that working for you?
So that I can come in at 10. It does not work that way. As a matter of fact, when you start your own business, I think that you work harder than someone else that is employed. Because your effort is directly commensurate to what you get at the end of the month. So if that month you were just dilly-dallying, exactly, that means you don't have money at the end of the month, so you cannot take care of your bills. You have overheads that you need to pay for, you don't have money. So I realized what you do, the effort you put in, is directly reciprocal to what you get. So you work harder as an in fact, I almost there was a part of me that was like, I need to apologize to my former employers. I used to think that their life is very simple. You know, they can come at 10, the employees are already here. It doesn't work that way. And as a matter of fact, by the time he comes to the office at 10, sometimes it's because he was already having meetings from 6 a.m. He had to go somewhere. By the file that you're working on, someone had to go and chase. For it. They had to go to an office, ask, they looked for that work that you're currently working on your desk. But you see, as an employee, sometimes you only have one perspective. You just think, I'm the one that, if it were not for me, this business would not be here.
We overrate ourselves
sometimes. And the work is not even, in fact, sometimes I say, sometimes the desk work is not the hardest bit. Getting the client is where the work is.
Okay. Interesting insights that we are getting. Again, remember, this is Elevate TV, where we are advancing kingdom lifestyle, and this is the Thursday morning show, a show for women, by women, for women empowerment. So, I'm happy to learn a couple of things this morning. That employment, when you're in employment, you actually don't understand the real rigors of running a business. Okay, so you've started your law firm, you've taken it off the ground, 3 years on. Why start a clothes business?
Now, interestingly, the clothes business came before the law firm. So sometimes I'm not sure whether it's a side hustle or they're just two businesses together. Yeah, because interestingly, how I started the clothes business, it's actually my sister. My sister was in campus. She's 2 years younger than me. So she used to sell clothes when she was in campus to her friends. And I remember, and one day she told me, but you know, this business is really nice. I go to Gikomba, I get clothes, I sell. Why don't you try that? So after...
Wait, take us back. So this was a business started when who was in campus?
My sister.
Your sister was in campus. So she's a student.
Yeah, she's
already hustling.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was a student and she was already hustling.
Wow.
And I remember just thinking, so she came and told me, because I remember telling her she was very dedicated with this, her clothes business. So she came and told me, Esther, I think you should do this.
Yes.
It is nice. And she told me, it has money. I was like, oh wow, I also want money. So it was initially her idea. Of course, she's moved on to other things.
Yes.
My sister now does, she's an accountant, but she also does deco.
Okay.
That's what she loves.
Okay.
But so when I decided to do it, it was after, when I seriously decided to do it, was after law school. So that period where after, you know, actually it was during pupillage. So you're barely, for people that work in farms, you know that at that point you're just surviving. The money that you're being paid is very little, and you want to survive in this town.
Yes.
And Nairobi is not cheap.
True.
So I would go to Gikomba and get clothes pick, and mostly I would just sell them to my friends. I would look at Laureen, I'm like, Laureen, I have a nice dress that would fit you. Yeah, so I would go to Gikomba. I'd be in Gikomba like from like 5:30 in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah, because if you go late, you will not find the nice dresses. They've already been taken. The early birds will carry all the nice things.
Wow.
Yeah, so you have to be there very early in the morning. So we'd wake up, go to Gikomba.
Yes.
So I did that for a while until then I also started selling new clothes.
Okay.
So I have two cloth businesses.
Yes.
So we have the
Used?
thrifted ones, and then we have the new ones.
Yes.
Yeah, so the new ones, that one is called Tale, boutique, Tale. With Tale, so with this one, I started buying, so it got to a point where now I was buying bells. So I finally opened a shop. I got someone, and that took off.
Okay.
But now these other ones, because now over time, remember now my friends, at this point now they've been admitted.
Yes.
Now they, you know, they can afford to buy
the
the more expensive dresses.
Yes.
Now, this is the challenge. I have no idea where to. I know this is what I want to get. And let me tell you, finding that information has been work. I have followed all Facebook pages.
Oh.
You know, small businesses, to Jengane, whatever, name it, I am in. So the first place I went, so I went to Eastleigh.
Yes.
Because I was told go to Eastleigh. Now,
Yes.
Eastleigh has 1,000,001 malls. Now, when you go to Eastleigh and you have no idea where to start, you walk into this mall, it sells male apparels. You walk into this one, it has kids' clothes. You walk into this one, it has toys. But however, I remember the first visit, I kept walking around and I kept asking the guards, where can I find these clothes? Where can I'm looking for these clothes. So I went to this mall, I got a few dresses. I didn't like them as much. But I think they were the best version of what I was looking for at the time. So I bought a few. I'm like, let me just go and see what will happen. Interestingly, people liked them. So I managed to sell them, but now I was struggling with a source. So eventually I got a source from Kampala.
Okay.
So there's a guy, what is very interesting is they have, I found that they have better clothes compared to our market, yet it's a landlocked country.
Yeah.
Those clothes pass by. So it's like they will get them from the port, they will go to Uganda, and then someone will send them to me in Nairobi. Okay. So, but with the source, with the new ones, I am still struggling. So I have that source, but I am thinking there has to be another place. So I have been thinking of going to Turkey. Okay. Because I need to source. In fact, eventually what I want to do is that I want to have my own clothing line. Yeah. So I've even been shopping for fabrics. Wow. Yeah, I've started shopping I've been asking around tailors and how much that costs. So I'm still doing my research with that because eventually I want to have my own clothing line because I feel like there are styles and designs that I really want that I can't just find in the market. I am struggling. Okay. Yeah.
Viewers, watch this space. Lots of unique designs will be coming to you from Esther.
Yes, amen.
Remember, she's an advocate and she runs a side hustle or a hustle. One, she sells thrifted clothes. And then the others are new clothes. It's interesting actually that when I posted about this show yesterday, somebody actually commented, I don't know if you saw the comment, that they can actually introduce you to a source. So
that is really
women,
nice.
It's important to share what you want to do because when you do that, you actually get people that are able to help you, you know. But I'm really excited about the things we are discussing about and this new clothing line. I'll talk to you offline, but amazing, and I look forward to it. So, so why would a young lady running a law firm still be struggling with business on the side? I ask this because many people, the minute you say you are a lawyer, an advocate, in Swahili, of course, you say wakili, everybody, wakili this, wakili that. When you go and sit in a restaurant, people are like, niko na wakili, the bill is sorted, you know.
Yeah.
So why again get into the hassles of another business on the side?
Diversity. And I think it's also because I think you can just be more than one thing. Yeah, you can be more than one thing.
Yes.
I know so many people that are doing many other things, including you, Laureen. Yeah. You almost do it all. I keep asking, where do you get the time to do all these things? Because with my 3 businesses, I don't have time. It is a struggle, I'll be honest, because sometimes, and I'm not even sure whether there's a balance. I feel like sometimes when you're winning this side,
something is
struggling or stagnating. It may not be struggling, but it's stagnating.
Yes.
Because you can't be, the truth is, you can't be 100% everywhere.
Yes.
But now the beauty of it is that I am learning to delegate. Yeah, I'm learning to delegate. Because in fact, the first shop that I opened, I closed.
Oh.
Because I realized later on that my employee
was
also helping themselves
to the stock.
To the stock.
Oh dear.
So they would sell.
Dear.
You're like, and that dress, it is not there, but we don't have money. So I got so frustrated, and at the time I was very busy, so I got very frustrated and closed the shop. But I have always had it in me. I think I'm just an entrepreneur.
Okay.
I cannot sleep. So for a while, I was just, in fact, I just started shopping for a new location.
Yes.
And that's what I did. When I found a new location, I moved. I got another employee who was also not very committed. There are times I would pass by the shop, it's closed.
Oh.
Yeah, and I remember there was even a time when we had a holiday. I think it was an Islamic holiday. And they had closed the shop. And I asked, and she told me she had gone for the holiday and she was away for 4 days. She was away for 4 days. So I realized it's also businesses challenging and you have to be there. You have to be there. So I try as much as I can to pass by. Sometimes I don't even have the time to get into the shop, but I'll just pass by to see that it is open. And also what you do, don't pile up your work. So make sure you go through your books at least daily. If you can't do it daily, every 3 days, the business records.
Yes.
Just make sure you do it at least every 2 days, 3 days, at least weekly. And that is a stretch. But at least weekly. So you're able to know the gaps and identify the issues.
Yes.
Also listen to your, because right now, I thank God I have very good employees. They're doing a fantastic job so far. We've not had issues, I think, for the past 1 year. So I'm really grateful. But it takes time. Sometimes before you get to the right one, you will have about 3 or 4 that will not be so good, but that's what it comes with the territory. Don't give up.
So is there maybe a way, or what are the tips you would give to identifying and also monitoring? Because there's checking the books, but what more are you doing just to ensure that the business is running, you are getting customers? For the sake of the women that are watching us this morning.
You have to be present.
Okay.
I think other than checking the books, you have to be present, because I've had, there's a page I follow, and there's a very popular business in this town where the reviews on that page, people complain. The shop does really well, but everyone is complaining that the customer care is horrible. And the employees are very rude to customers. So sometimes you're wondering, why is my product not selling? But sometimes it's actually the people that you have at the shop, their attitude. So no one is getting into the shop, not because your product is not good, but no one is coming into the shop because the employees don't look like they even want to attend to them. They look like they've been forced to go. Like, I remember there was a shop I ever walked in and someone was doing her makeup. And they took their sweet time, but I really needed what I wanted, so I just waited. So sometimes your presence, you must be there. So once in a while, just make sure you go. If you have a whole day, let's say it's a Saturday, just be there the entire day. You will get to know, because sometimes there are your customers will walk in.
Yes.
And you can tell, some of them will speak. They will tell you. They're like, oh, today we found a nice person. Yeah. So when a customer walks in and says, today they found a nice person, and you have an employee, then I think you know what you need to do. Yeah. So you must be present. For those that can afford cameras, CCTVs are good, because also you can check. These days you can just have it connected to your phone.
Yes.
So it's easier for you to monitor your business from where you are. Because also I keep saying, if you want to build an empire, it is not practical that you will always be there. You can't be. So let's say you have 100 other businesses because you're Dangote. You can't be everywhere every day. At some point, you have to learn to delegate.
Yes.
But at the same time, you have to put structures in place.
I love that.
Structures.
Yes.
In place, so that the business will run even when you're not there. And they may not be perfect. You're also not perfect. You know, sometimes I think we are hard on ourselves. We don't want to delegate because you feel like, I am the only one that can do this. That is not true. You will overwhelm yourself. You will overwhelm yourself. You also need to have a bit of time to even be creative, because you can't be creative when your mind is full all the time. So you will have to put structures in place and delegate. Work on your human resource, because most of the times that is where your success lies, in your human resource.
Wow.
And empower your employees. When you're doing well, also make sure they're also doing well. Don't also be someone that your business is doing really well, but also what you're paying your employees is not commensurate to what you're making. You're actually tempting them to steal from you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Women, I hope you're listening this morning. Very crucial and vital insights that we are getting. So, in terms of balancing, I know you've touched on it a bit, but how do you balance all this?
Time.
Time.
You have to be good at managing your time.
Wow.
So when you wake up in the morning, decide which business, where am I starting? So most of the times I have to start from the law firm, my office, because sometimes maybe I have court or whatever. Then when I take a break, then I will rush to the shop. I will see how things are running that side. Then I will come back to the office and then maybe go out for my meetings.
Wow. Okay. So again, time management. I think this is a theme that we carried on even from our last show, and I'm glad you mentioned it again. Time management, that's the only way you'll manage. Now, as we get ready to wind up this show in a couple of minutes, tell us, you are single, are you dating?
I am dating.
Yes. Okay.
I'm actually engaged.
Wow. Wow. Okay. I'm asking because I just want to know, how is the relationship fitting in all these things? And in the context of, you know, when people are single, we like to say, single people don't need money.
Wow.
In fact, in family settings, if there's a sibling that has a challenge, they will call the single person who is working, because they know that one doesn't have obligations.
Because they have extra money.
Yeah, they have extra.
I wish it worked that way. I've actually had people complaining about these things. I'm over here thinking, can I even afford children in this economy right now? I'm not so sure. Because I feel like you're always... As a single person, you're always improving yourself. As a matter of fact, you're always taking on so many other roles. For example, I've also, okay, right now I've taken a break, but I used to serve in church in the Young Professionals Ministry, and I was actually the chair for about 3 years.
Wow.
Before the immediate former chair. I am doing so many things. So you're active in church. For those of you that are active in church, I go to All Saints. So for those of you that are active in church, know that ministry is very demanding. So of course, most of the times, it's those single people that are running all the errands and doing all the work, because the rest of you are taking care of children and going to do parents meetings and whatever it is, and hosting family or whatever. Plus, you're also running a business. Remember, when you go to work, whether you're a single person, a married person, or a mother, whatever it is, you're all putting in the time to do the work. It is now what you will do after that 6 p.m. Now someone else will go to their children, to their husband, someone else will go for a coffee date, someone else will go to another business.
Okay.
So I don't think single people have they may have, I think it's how you organize yourself. Because I also acknowledge that, of course, people that have children they have little time because children are very demanding. They require a lot of time. But also I think that most of the single people that I know have actually, in fact, most of them I feel like they're overstretching to the point that it's going to be a crisis when they decide to settle down because now the time, because you see, because they feel like they had, so most of the time they had, they have put in, they have filled it with maybe an extra business. But for some people it's a passion project. Because you see, as a single, you don't have an excuse. Where will you say you are? What were you doing?
I love that. As single people, you don't have an excuse.
You don't.
You should be doing something either to develop yourself, to increase your income, you know, to build your networks, etc., etc. Wow. So if you're single, please, single ladies, it's not time for you to relax and spend all your time on dating sites, etc. But build yourself and make sure that, you know, you're using your time wisely so that later on people will see what you did in your singlehood. And you know, even scripture tells us that when we are single, we can serve God even more.
That is true. That is
true.
true.
So it's amazing. And thank you so much for sharing those insights. So I just want to ask you perhaps, what do you consider as your success factor or factors? Maybe just two in about 2 minutes. What are the things that have helped you succeed this far?
My faith.
Okay.
I think my faith, my belief in myself, because there are times when things are thick. There are times when the going gets rough.
Yes.
And you have to constantly encourage yourself. You have to constantly, and that's why I like that verse in 2 Peter that says, all that we require for life has been given to us. All that we require for life. So I always know that everything that I need.
Yes.
So I may not have that money, but I have the mind to think and be creative and know what, and come up with a solution. And know how I can get that money or the alternative route. Because I may not get the money, so what is the alternative?
Yes.
So I think my belief in myself, my faith, and hard work. There is no shortcut. You have to put in the time. You have
and
to
the
put
work.
in the work.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are coming to the close of our show this morning, believe it or not. Even I can't believe it. It's been such an amazing discussion with such an amazing guest. Thank you so much, Esther, for agreeing to come to be on our show. We'll definitely get you back one of the days. Once you launch the clothing line, we will be your customers, and we pray that you come back and share with us. So just in 30 seconds, what is your parting shot to our viewers?
My parting shot to our viewers
You just look straight into your camera there and speak to them.
So my parting shot to our viewers is have faith in yourself and believe that all that you require for life, the Lord has given you. Everything that you require for life, the Lord has given you. So start where you are. Don't think about other circumstances. Oh, I need to have this amount of money. No, what do you have? Start where you are right now. You may have to start by being an employee because now you need to raise capital. So just start where you are, because you already, as a matter of fact, you will learn skills that will help you save money when you start that business. So you may not have to close it the first time you start it. So look at it as it's actually a gift and a blessing to have the time, to have good health, and to be able to work somewhere and gain a skill that will eventually help you in running your business. So everything that you require for life, you already have it. It's within you. And the Lord is faithful. He is.
Wow. What a show this morning. Thank you so much for tuning in, and sorry I've not been able to look at your comments, but we will look at that. Our team is also looking and responding, and we are so grateful that you could tune in this morning. We do this every Thursday from 7:30 in the morning. This is the Thursday Morning Digest. I've been your host, Laureen Magotsi, and I look forward to seeing you again next Thursday with another amazing guest. And as always, we come to you live from Elevate TV studios right at the heart of the city of Nairobi. And we are about advancing kingdom lifestyle. So thank you. See you again next Thursday. God bless you.